Good evening and welcome to Source 16 News at 10. I'm Tammy Hancock. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news this hour, area residents have more options this year when it comes to purchasing fireworks since bottle rockets and Roman candles are no longer illegal in Kentucky.
Last year we were under a Safe and Sane program where only small fireworks that didn't leave the ground were allowed within the state of Kentucky. And this year they've changed the law to allow the larger consumer fireworks within the state.
The fire inspector also talks about who can now purchase fireworks under the new law.
The state of Kentucky, when they changed the law to the increased consumer fireworks, they've also changed the law that you have to be 18 to sell fireworks and 18 to purchase fireworks. So any younger teenagers that are trying to purchase fireworks at a tent are not going to be allowed to buy them without an adult.
As residents celebrate Independence Day this weekend, officials are encouraging everyone to let their patriotism show, but use caution when handling fireworks.
A family fireworks display, the shooter, which is the person who's going to be igniting the fireworks, should be an adult. They should be in a level surface area, free of trees and any other overhead objects such as power lines or phone lines. And then the audience needs to be at least 25 feet away. The whole group should have at least a water hose or a bucket of water to safely douse the fireworks or sparklers in afterwards. And if a firework does not ignite and the wick is gone, leave it for 15 or 20 minutes until it's cooled down and then soak it with the water hose, because you don't want one to explode.
In addition, Clues offers more tips on how to handle specific types of fireworks that some residents may think are foolproof.
Sparklers, and I want everyone to remember that sparklers burn at 1200 degrees. It's like a white hot little flame that's at the end, and you need to make sure that children who have a sparkler keep it well away from their face and they point it away from their body, and that they're at least 10 or 15 feet away from another child, because the sparks that come off kind of sparkle for, you know, a foot around the sparkler. That's why it's called a sparkler. And then another firework that's still available are the little poppers. They do get hot, so children that are allowed to use a popper, they need to make sure they have a good shoe on. Make sure they have their good tennis shoes on, because the heat will come through a flip-flop or a sandal.
Meanwhile, several communities and Kentucky parks will be hosting firework displays this weekend. Ken Lake State Resort Park in Aurora will be showcasing fireworks on Sunday around dusk at the Old Beach area. Kentucky Dam Village State Resort Park in Gilbertsville will have live bands playing Sunday evening around 6 o'clock with a fireworks show following the performance. And the Lake Barkley State Resort Park in Cadiz will be having their firework display at 9 o'clock Sunday night. In addition, law enforcement officials want to remind motorists to keep safe, as officers will be out in full force patrolling the roadways across the state during the three-day holiday weekends. Well, the 60th annual Western Kentucky State Fair kicked off today. During the fair, attendees will have plenty of things to experience, from wrestling, mud bogs, and tractor pulls to special exhibits and shows. Plus, there will be lots of food and rides for kids and adults of all ages to enjoy. Meanwhile, tonight at 8 o'clock earlier this evening, the young ladies took to the runway for the Miss Pageant at the Convention Center. The Mrs. Pageant will be held tomorrow night at 8, with the Infant, Baby, and Tiny Tot pageants tomorrow afternoon at 3, 4, and 5. And then on Sunday, the youth pageants begin at 1. This year's big entertainment headliner is the multiple award-winning bluegrass group, the Grascals, with their lightning hot stage show and Raise the Rafters vocals. The Grascals will perform Tuesday night at 7:30 at the Fairgrounds Convention Center. For ticket information for the Grascals performance, you can call Paula Knight at James Knight Appliance. Admission to the fair each evening is $3. To view the fair schedule, you can visit westernkystatefair.org. The Western Kentucky State Fair runs through next Saturday, July 9th. In other news, Hopkinsville police are investigating the alleged rape and sodomy of an 11-year-old girl. According to the report released today, the 11-year-old told police that she was raped and sodomized around 11 o'clock Sunday night when she was with 4 males, ages 21, 19, 16, and 15, at the rear of Attucks Elementary School on East 1st Street. The victim told officers that the 4 males asked her for sexual favors, but when she refused, the suspects insisted and appeared angry, so she agreed. Police need your help locating a missing Marshall County girl. According to Kentucky State Police, 18-year-old Chelsea Norred has been missing since Wednesday when she had a bus ticket bound for her parents' home in Missouri. However, she never boarded the bus and has not been seen since. Norred is described as a white female, 5'3" tall, about 135 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. If you know the whereabouts of the teen, please contact Kentucky State Police at 270-856-3721. The Pennyroyal Area Development District got some good news today. PAD is receiving a $75,000 rural development grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. 1st District Congressman Ed Whitfield made the announcement today and said the funds awarded will be used to provide technical assistance and skills development to enable and further small business growth within the 9-county area served by PAD. Whitfield said, quote, "With unemployment remaining high, I am pleased to see these funds going towards small business creation and development." He went on to say small business creators are the engines of our economy, and providing them with the tools they need to create jobs is a worthwhile use of these grants. For the second time this month, a Todd County judge postponed his decision on whether or not to change the venue of a teen's murder trial. Todd County Circuit Judge Tyler Gill today continued the case of 17-year-old Garrett Dye until July 22nd. Hopkinsville attorney Dennis Ritchie, who was representing Dye, previously told Source16 his client could not get a fair trial in his home county because residents have already heard too much about the case. The 17-year-old is accused of killing his 9-year-old adoptive sister and biological cousin, Amy Dye, by hitting her in the head multiple times with a hydraulic jack handle on February 4th at their home on Dogwood Lane near Trenton. A Clarksville bank robber's false teeth, or lack of, helped police identify the man. Clarksville Police spokesman Jill Knoll says good old-fashioned police work and help from the media were instrumental in leading to the arrest of the bank robber after he robbed Heritage Bank on Trenton Road Tuesday morning around 10 o'clock. Knoll says after a picture of the bank robber was broadcast or published, tips flowed into the police department. One of the tipsters identified the suspect as 33-year-old Kenneth Evan Powers, but police say the tipsters also noticed that he did not have his false teeth in at the time of the robbery. Powers was tracked down to a trailer off of Cumberland City Road in Stewart County, where he was taken into custody Thursday by a tactical unit that forced their way inside the home. Police say Powers was uncooperative and had to be tased. He was charged with robbery and lodged in the Montgomery County Jail on a $75,000 bond. According to Officer Knoll, Powers has an extensive criminal history locally and also in New York, Georgia, and Wisconsin. He is also being held for a parole violation. And here's something you don't see every day. Motorists were quite surprised yesterday driving down Fort Campbell Boulevard when they saw a man standing in the middle of the road in front of Baldwin's Appliance wearing only his skimpies, as you see here in this amateur video taken with a cell phone and sent to Source16. Hopkinsville police were dispatched to the boulevard after lines lit up at the Emergency Communications Center about the man standing only in his underwear, screaming and yelling at passing motorists. By the time officers arrived, the 39-year-old Madisonville man reportedly had already stripped off his underwear and was in the roadway completely nude. He was arrested, charged with disorderly conduct, and taken to a local mental hospital for evaluation. The state received some welcoming news today. Fewer Kentuckians are lighting up. The American Heart Association's advocacy director in Kentucky, Tanya Chang, says cigarette sales are declining, but says the state is still considered to have one of the highest smoking rates in the nation. Over the past 2 years, a state economist reported Kentuckians have purchased 120 million fewer cigarettes. Deputy Executive Director of the Governor's Office for Economic Analysis, Greg Harkenreiter, credits the state's increased cigarette tax from 30 cents to 60 cents per pack for the decline. Well, when it comes to buying produce, picking foods that have been grown local are actually healthier than those shipped from across the nation. Here's Michelle Herron to tell us why.
Did you know that the typical carrot travels 1,800 miles from the farm to to your dinner plate. That's right, it's something called food miles, and it refers to the distance that a food item like these carrots travel from the farm to your dinner table. The food miles for something bought from your local grocery store are on average 27 times higher than the food miles for goods bought locally.
So they pick them before their peak ripeness, which means that the nutrients aren't fully developed, so they're not ever really there. Then they gas the foods to give them their color and to help ripen them very quickly, and that also causes just a lack of nutrition there.
People who buy foods that are grown locally are sometimes referred to as locavores, and it is one way you can be healthier.
When we live far away from where we're getting our produce, we're lacking in a lot of vitamins and minerals that we don't realize because we're eating our fruits and our vegetables, but not everything's in them that should be. When you buy local, you know, it was probably picked yesterday. It's at the peak of its freshness, so you can buy it, take it home, and cook it tonight for dinner.
In return, keeping it local helps small-scale farmers like Patrick Holland, who, for example, lives in the middle of an Amish community. Without the farmers market, they wouldn't be able to sell their products.
But having it here, bringing it into town, it just helps us to have a place where we can you know, have the vegetables available for the people, for our customers.
By increasing local farm income, more money can be spent locally for the farmer to run their business. In other words, it helps keep the local economy alive.
You're giving money basically probably to your neighbor. I mean, we live in a very small community, in a very rural community full of farming families. So, I mean, that's kind of the nice thing to do. You can go to Kroger and spend your money there, but you can also give it to your neighbor who's worked hard all season to bring you this fresh zucchini or cucumbers or strawberries.
That was Michelle Herron reporting. Now, Hopkinsville's Farmers Market is participating in the National America's Favorite Farmers Markets contest. In order to win, they need you to cast your vote. Go to farmland.org/vote by August 31st.